In this episode of Echo Base, ILM's xLab brings us a new virtual reality experience. The High Republic gets delayed, but Thrawn arrives sooner, and we've got a new Star Wars game show for you. Welcome to Echo Base.
Thanks, Eric, for that wonderful intro. We are now ready to do the show proper, I guess, right? It's just you and I tonight.
Yeah, some of us are here.
Co-host Tim, we are flying a man light. Everything is his fault now, though, so that's okay with me.
You spaced him, didn't you?
No,
it's okay. You can admit it. It's just the two of us, Lou. You can admit it. You spaced him, didn't you?
No one else is listening?
Nobody else is listening right now.
Yeah, I did space him.
That's not true. We actually have people here in the chat room, so you do have some witnesses.
I just admitted that now.
Yeah. Hey, Tom, how you doing? Got Tom here, David here. More people will drop in as we go along, I'm sure.
Yeah, they usually do.
But
drop in, drop off, drop out, whatever.
Yeah, drop in and out. But speaking of dropping into things, we're going to be able to drop in via virtual reality into Galaxy's Edge. Right?
Yeah, this seems pretty cool. This is, ILM xLabs. They were the one that did the Vader Immortal stuff and a few other things, right?
Isn't that where Justin ended up?
It is. I think he is there now,
Justin Bolger.
Yes. And he was doing social media for StarWars.com, and then he went on to ILM xLab.
Our favorite former staff member. Well, yes. One of them. We have several favorite former staff members, but yeah.
So now, is this going to be a virtual experience of going to Galaxy's Edge, or is this going to work in conjunction with it?
Well, that's a really good question.
Clear from the press release they gave us.
Yeah, and so that happens a lot with press releases, right? You get the big announcement, and they get the info that they want to get out there, and they figure, okay, we've answered all your questions. You guys are good. No, we always have more questions, and it's always something obvious. Right? Why didn't you just tell us this one part that's so obvious? So, the press release, I'm just going to skim over it here. Award-winning immersive entertainment studio, blah, blah, blah. It's developing Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, a new action-adventure virtual reality experience in collaboration with Oculus Studios. Coming later this year, the experience connects to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, the epic new land at Disneyland Resort in California and Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. So this is going to be, whatever it is experience-wise, the location, the setting is going to be the Disney park. Okay, but not with tourists and stuff there. It's apparently going to be in universe. Okay. So it goes on to say, we're so excited for fans to step into Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge later this year, says Vicky Dobbs-Beck, ILM xLab executive in charge. This action-packed adventure not only speaks to the promise of connected and complementary experiences by extending the lore around Black Spire Outpost. So apparently it's going to be bigger than the existing lore in the park. It represents another meaningful step in the lab's quest to transition from storytelling, one-way communication, which is what we've gotten so far from them, to story living, where you're inside a world making consequential choices that drive your experience forward.
This VR state. Now, have you done the Vader Immortal stuff?
I don't have a system on which to do it, and I've been debating whether to even bother putting that on my horizon down the road. I mean, if the whole streaming thing takes off and I can afford it at some point, maybe. And
the technology is evolving, and that's certainly going to be better, in 5 years than it is now. And they've had this demo of at least the Vader Immortal stuff at Celebration in Chicago. I think they had something in Orlando before that, I want to say. But I haven't waited in line to do it.
We know Tim didn't.
Right.
Oh, there's two people in front of me at the drinking fountain. Nope, not going to do it. Not that thirsty.
I'll go later, yeah.
Let's not do lines.
But, I got to imagine that this is a pretty cool way to experience additions to Galaxy's Edge, right? I mean, because we all want to be able to go to the park and be the only one there and have the experience, that we want to have.
Right.
Not with, thousands of other people there where you can't see what you want to see and you can't get the pictures you want. So I think this is going to be an exciting way to see and do more stuff in Galaxy's Edge than we would have been able to do at the park.
Well, unless you got a green screen and do some editing later, you're still not going to get the pictures you want if you want to be in the pictures.
Sure.
So, there's that
the experience of being there and doing it and feeling like you're really part of this.
And
because now, you can get that personalized one-on-one experience with the virtual reality setup.
Right. So, and that's the thing. So you're going to be missing out on, I don't know if this is going to include ride content. So that's one big question. Let's assume for the moment it does not. Even if it does, you're missing the kinetics of the ride, right? Like the motion simulation stuff. And and of course, you'd have other people there with you in the rides too, which wouldn't be here. So let's assume it does not include the rides. You're not getting any of the drinks or the food. You're not getting to purchase things. Oh, what would be really cool is if they would let you purchase things and then have it shipped to you. I wonder if they thought about that.
I'm sure they have.
But there's a whole like infrastructure, like network infrastructure back end for that they'd have to make sure is set up too. I don't know, but man, wouldn't that be awesome? Like virtual shopping, right?
Yeah. Well, you could shop in universe and really do it while you're there. The interesting thing about this, though, I don't so much to see this as a replacement for going to the parks. This isn't a way to extend your visit and extend your experience, right? Because you still want to go to the park, you still want to see, you still want to touch and feel the stuff there, but to be able to extend the story and play with things in universe and become part of that story, I think this is a natural way to do that and keep that magic going for months after you've been to the park. Yeah,
as good as virtual reality is getting, it's still obviously virtual. It's like you're never going to confuse it for the real world. So you're still going to want that experience. But for those of us for whom that experience is just not going to happen anytime soon and is several years down the road, this is great. Now, the tragic part is that number one, virtual reality has not permeated the marketplace, and this isn't ready right now with the pandemic going on. Because can you imagine if everybody had VR headsets right now? Online gaming would be different. Online chat rooms, our podcasting would be different. And the conventions thing, they're going to cancel Celebration? No problem. By the way, we don't have word on that yet. No problem. We'll just do the whole thing virtual. And you could virtually go to the convention. And it still wouldn't help vendors and stuff like that. Again, this is not really a substitute. But in the lack of anything else, it's
right. It's closing in on that. It's closing the gap, I guess you'd say.
Right.
When the whole pandemic thing first happened and people were talking about virtual conventions and everything else and what we're dealing with now, people were throwing around, the Oasis from Ready Player One. And, this is pushing us towards that kind of technology where you can go into an immersive universe in virtual reality and do stuff.
Right.
And this is kind of the first step towards that. I mean, virtual reality is not ready for prime time yet. Not everybody has the way to connect to it. Not everybody has the money to buy into it. And it's probably not all that great. I imagine it's catching up rather rapidly.
I will say I did a demo in a Microsoft store maybe 2 years ago. I think maybe 2018. It's good enough. Like it is definitely...
Okay.
And I was skeptical. I was wandering around the mall trying to kill like 2 or 3 hours, and they had a demo. And I'm like, yeah, it's a middle of a weekday. Why not? I'll go in and try the demo and see how it is. And I was legitimately caught by surprise at how much better it was than I expected it to be.
Okay.
Like if I had the money,
this is awesome to hear.
If I had the money, the only thing that would prevent me from getting it right now is the lack of software. The lack of game choices. Some of them are really good. I imagine there are a lot of them I would get bored with fairly quickly. So if there weren't some sort of like an MMO or like a VR chat, which is actually a thing, if I didn't have some sort of social option that was ongoing, or maybe something like this, I don't know whether it would be worth the money yet, because the money right now is still really the big hurdle. That and the hardware. I mean, you've got to have a pretty decent, basically a gaming machine. And I think Oculus makes a self-contained headset.
Oh, do they?
I think, but I don't know much about what that entails. I think it's less expensive. But I think it's a more watered down experience. Don't quote me on that.
While you're talking, I pulled the Oculus website. They have a headset for everyone. They have Oculus Rift S, Oculus Quest, and Oculus Go. The Rift S is PC-powered VR gaming. The Quest is all-in-one VR gaming, and the Oculus Go is all-in-one VR viewing. So
okay, yeah. Tom in the chat room confirmed that the Quest is self-contained. David doesn't want to drop $200 to $400, and it might be lowballing. I think you're lowballing it. The PS4 version retails for $399, and the Oculus, the one I demoed at the time was, I want to say, $599 or $699, and then that's separate from the PC that you need.
Right, and that's a pretty substantial PC.
Yeah, I mean, the minimum specs that this needed to run at that time, you were looking at easily minimum of $1,000, $1,200 just to open that door.
So it kind of a moot point too, because everything here on the website says the S, sold the out. Quest, and the Go are all out of stock.
Yeah, well, if it's something you can plug into a wall or a computer right now, it's out of stock. Try to get a webcam, Lou. Yeah. Oh, we lost Lou.
Right now.
Bye-bye, Lou. Yeah, Skype does not like it when you get closer or further away from the camera. There we go.
I'm sorry. I had a.
Lou has mastered the art of teleporting.
Issue. I know. Sorry about that.
Pretty impressive.
So, yeah, I mean, anything dealing with technology these days is pretty hard to come by with everybody staying home and wanting to do things online.
You know what's funny is anything that you can do at home is sold out. I decided I've got a secret project coming up, and maybe in the next Behind the Curtain, I'll give you guys a preview of it. It's a video project. I'm pretty excited about it. But it involves some crafting. I have to design some things to then put into the video. And so right now I'm using polymer clay, modeling clay.
Okay.
And you can get a little 2-ounce block for they retail for about $2.70. Okay. Except right now, supply and demand, they're going on Amazon for $8 or $9 a piece. And 2 ounces does not get you very much. So I need probably 10 of these. So, $20 or so, not a problem. And the Hobby Lobby even has them on sale for $1.70, except they're out of the colors I need. So right now, if I wanted to buy them, just 10 of these, I'd be paying close to $100. Anything you can do at home right now that is craft related, work related, computer, telecommunications, just gaming, not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, this virtual thing though, I mean, it sounds interesting, and it's weird because it's there's another paragraph here, Tales from Galaxy's Edge, taking place between The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, which is the same for the theme park. They're never going to catch up with Rise of Skywalker because then they have to shut down the whole First Order section of the park. So that's the time they're locked into. We'll give players the opportunity to blah, 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 blah. Multiple styles of gameplay and difficulty settings to accommodate a wide variety of players. They're really making all of the references to this being a game, which is interesting. So I'm assuming it's like a narrative, story-based game. The action elements, I would have to imagine, are going to be a little bit light. But, we've got the two factions there, right? The Resistance and the First Order. So it's probably going to be you talking and communicating with cast members. And then apparently, it's talking about making decisions and it having impact and stuff like that. So it almost looks like it's an interactive story.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
But also being able to explore, which is nice.
Yeah, and I think that, like we said before, it's evolving technology. So the first forays into this that are going to be fairly basic, I would imagine. And as we move along, we're going to get more and more content and more gameplay style and more interaction. I think this is a great, if they don't start putting this stuff out there we're never going to move into that. And I think this is a great way to start that process. People looking into Star Wars stuff that are being, future forward and sci-fi stuff. So I think it's a good way to really move along with this.
Who better to bring the marriage of technology with creative content than ILM?
Mm-hmm.
So it's good that they're the ones kind of bringing this out there. The downside of all this, of course, is, again, it's not available yet, and we can't afford the headsets. And it would have been nice if they could have had this already by, back in February, maybe.
Yeah, but, nobody knew we were going to have this. So,
yeah.
While you were talking, I did a little research more on Oculus. So the Rift S is $399. So that's their high-end unit.
That's their high-end.
I believe the Rift S is the high-end one.
Well, that's come down then.
At least of the three they showed, that was the one they had out there. And then they show Oculus Ready PCs. They range from $1,100 to $3,000 or $4,000, depending on how much power you really want. But
I wonder if I upgraded my video card, if it would be enough. Doesn't matter. I can't afford the headset. Another good point in the chat room issue is the storyline will be locked behind a $500 price point. You could argue that, that's a legitimate point, and that's the truth. If you are buying a system for one game, like we were joking around about Animal Crossing, and Robin knows people that plays it, and I'm like, well, yeah, it's worth $60. I don't know that it's worth $360 because you'd have to buy a Nintendo Switch. It's the same thing with any sort of a console. With the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, whatever it is coming out, those are probably going to be $500 a piece. You run into this with PlayStation and Xbox games too. People don't take that cost into account because a lot of people who would buy those games already have those consoles.
Right.
People who would play a computer game already have a computer. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But
if you're buying it just for that, it exactly is a $400 or $500,
But that's still legitimate
investment,
though, because the issue is if I drop the $500 for the hardware, and then I purchase this, or maybe it's even free. We know nothing yet about price points, release date, anything like that. And we get this Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. When we're done with it, then what?
Right. Hope there's other content you want to play with.
Right. And that's the rub right now. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Well, let's see. By the time we have this show posted, we're going to have our new YouTube channel up and running.
Well, I put that in the show notes because I'm used to taking a couple of days to edit the podcast. So the good news is that I've got a workflow set up now.
That's right.
That as soon as we're done with the live shows, I can hit a few buttons and get the audio podcasts posted right away. This is going to be posted before midnight tonight. So when I put in the show notes, by the time you hear this, the YouTube channel will be live. So don't listen to this until tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Give us a couple of days. So
so
because
it's going well. It's
normal.
Yeah.
By the time you hear this plus a day, we'll be live on YouTube.
I think that's fair. So I'm still on a night shift schedule. I'm supposed to be rotating into day shift right now, so it's a little icky. But by this time tomorrow, I will have at least one of the episodes edited and posted. I've got some of the editing done. I've just got to finish it up. And we've got episodes of Random Chatter, last week's Echo Base, and Movie Chatter ready to go.
Cool.
And then we'll have tonight's shows. I'll just have to edit those. So for this first week, give us a little bit of time to get caught up with the shows. Video editing takes a little bit more finessing than audio editing. So anytime we're doing a live show, you should probably expect the video versions to be, I don't know, a couple of days later.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And we've got to figure out this next coming weekend because I work in the evenings. So either we're not going to record live and we're going to have to record it maybe Saturday morning or something, or we're going to have to figure something out.
Sounds like
we'll worry about that later. The point is the YouTube channel, other than me just rendering it down and uploading it, is finally here. We've already had people that have subscribed to it. So be sure to subscribe. By the way, in YouTube, subscribing is free. If you haven't done this already, subscribe and like the videos when they come out and tell your friends about it and stuff. That'd be a big help.
Exactly.
randomchatter.com/YouTube.
Links.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Share the links out on the social media webby thingies that all you kids do these days,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see. We also have ways to contact us. We are on Twitter and Instagram. We are Random Chatter. We are actually Force Chatter and Random Chatter.
We are both. Yes.
Twitter and Instagram. I am Luke Skywalker without the E. And Eric, what are you on Twitter?
I'm drinking coffee. I am currently
drinkingcoffee.com.
Yeah, drinkingcoffee.com. That's probably taken. I'm Cinefan, Cynefan. And see, Tom in the chat room has already subscribed. Good job, man.
Nice. Thanks, Tom.
So Cinefan is also where you can currently find the Twitch streams that could change soon, but we will keep you posted well in advance of that. But right now, if you go to twitch.tv/Cinefan, that's my personal Twitch channel. So if you subscribe and help support me there, know that that's going to me directly. And I'm grateful for that, but that I want to be upfront. That's separate from the network support. But right now, that's where the network shows are being streamed. So that in Twitter, that's where you can find me. And then Tim is at Qui-Gon Tim with 2 somethings, 2 M's.
I think so.
2 T's, 2, I don't know. If you were
silent 3 in there somewhere.
If he could be bothered to show up, you know.
Maybe we'll get him back next week.
Yeah.
Also, you can find us on Discord. Probably a great way to interact with all the hosts and see all the shows, talk about all the shows.
Yep.
randomchat.com/Discord finds all the information about that. And
you know, it's funny. Our Discord server, a lot of times throughout the week, it's funny haha if people knew it was happening. And now I'm letting them know it's happening. So they're going to be funny haha. And for us, it's going to be funny like, maybe not. I don't know. But throughout the week, we gather news items and kind of stash them away. And sometimes we'll post them to the parts of Discord that are for the Patreon donors. And a lot of times, by the time we collect them, somebody else has already posted them in there too. So while the podcasts are great because you get us commenting on the different news items, a lot of the news items are posted within a few hours of them hitting the internet in our Discord server, depending on what topic you're looking for. So,
right. That's the problem doing a weekly show. Sometimes the news is older, but
our policy here is
that's why we don't break the news. We are chatting about
exactly what you said. We provide commentary. We don't break the news. I was always told if I broke things, I was in trouble, and that I'd have to fix it. And I'm not good at fixing the news. So.
That'd be called fake news, right?
I don't know.
Anyway,
they break the news. Okay. We fix the news.
We do.
Okay.
So we have a new show coming to Disney Plus.
Yes,
This looks pretty interesting. What do you think? So Jedi Temple Challenge is the show coming to Disney Plus, and this is a kids game show, like a kids interactive. I'm kind of thinking a cross between.
So for you and I, it would be, for me, it would be like Double Dare. For you, it would be like, what kind of radio shows did you have back before television came? Sure. No, like when your family would crowd around, you had like the big cabinet.
No, I'm not that old. God damn.
Come on, Lou. Really? Okay. He's quote, not that old. Wink, wink. Okay, so, but like for us, maybe Double Dare. For other people, there's some kind of like a hidden temple of the lost treasure of something or other. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
But it's like an obstacle course, a game show, but like also there's intellectual challenges and stuff to it as well.
So there's a trailer out there now. Yeah. Ahmed Best is hosting it, so Jar Jar is hosting the show.
Well, but to be clear,
yes, it's not Jar Jar, but he's best known for playing Jar Jar. Yeah. Yes. But at first I was a little skeptical until I saw the trailer, and I'm actually on board with this. I mean, I'm not going to watch it because it's definitely a kid's show.
Oh, I'll watch it.
It looks like they're doing the right things for the kids and making it not cheesy, but fully immersive. I think.
Yeah,
they did a really nice job with this.
Now, did you get an opportunity to watch Star Wars, the Star Wars show at StarWars.com this week?
No, I have not.
Okay,
not this week.
So they actually have coverage of it, and they interview Ahmed Best.
Okay.
And I forget her name. The actress who plays the droid. So they have a protocol droid. And then they also got, I believe it was an R5 astromech. I'd have to go back and look. R5, R6, I'm not sure. Thought that was going to be on Star Wars Kids. Did they change it to Disney Plus? Yes, Tom, they did change it to Disney Plus. Now, it may also be on Star Wars Kids. that's something you might need to check in on. I'm not sure. But it is at least going to be on Disney Plus. Whether they'll also air it on Disney Kids as well, I don't know. But they're talking to Ahmed Best, and it was interesting. Two things that really stood out. Number one, I like the approach that they're taking when the kids don't win. It's not like, well, you lost, you're not the winners. It's like, well, we just need to get you more training. Like, just keep at it. And, nice. it's this positive, encouraging approach to things. And I like how positive this show approaches that sort of competitiveness, because competition often is not encouraging and positive.
No, but competition is good, but also it's great that they're not making you feel horrible by losing, right? I mean,
right.
I am not a big fan of the whole participation award thing. Everybody shows up and gets something for it. But I like the way they're doing this, where they're giving you encouragement, more training, and, hey, you know what? We're going to get you there later on.
Right.
I think that's great, because it's a really, like you said, a positive way to put the spin on this for the kids.
Yeah. I think that, we've all had enough experiences with sports and stuff. You can compete, and you can compete fiercely, but still have a positive attitude toward it and have good sportsmanship.
Oh, yeah.
And this show really seems to just have a natural flow for that sort of thing. So I appreciated that. And the other thing is the character he plays, of course, is not Jar Jar. It's a Jedi. And I forget the character's name, but there's an in-universe story for that character. And that character is related to the character he played in the Cantina in episode 2 in the background. Wow. Remember, he had the cameo. Anthony Daniels had a cameo. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So apparently there's some sort of connection between those two characters as well. I don't know how much of that story they're going to get into on the show. Probably not at all, but it's there. It'll probably show up on Wikipedia, or, when Pablo Hidalgo comes out with the illustrated guide to Jedi Temple Challenge.
There you go. Yeah.
Don't know.
And Mary Holland is the one who
Mary Holland. Thank you.
AD3, the companion droid. Yeah. She was in Veep, and she was in Upright Citizens Brigade. So that's pretty cool.
I was going to say, I should remember the name too. That's the thing that frustrated me. It was right on the tip of my tongue. But so I don't always watch the Star Wars show. It's a great web series, and now that I'm spending more time in YouTube, I really need to start watching it more often. But this week's episode in particular, definitely worth checking, especially if you've got kids. But even if you don't, like, I know you're not going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. Of course, I'm desperate, and I'm like,
watch an episode just to give it a try, but
I'm 100% isolated, not like, you've got your wife you can chat with, and I've got, like, my mouse here. His name is Steve.
You named your mouse?
I'm desperate, Lou. This quarantine is like gotta end, man.
Moving along.
Oh. Anyway, speaking of the quarantine,
speaking of effects of the quarantine,
right?
So we're having some good and bad news, I guess, right? For stuff being delayed and released early from the quarantine. So we announced, or we didn't announce, but we talked about the High Republic being the next era of Star Wars content that we're coming up with, and there's books and there's comics and adult novels and young adult
coloring
stuff,
books, origami,
everything. It was all supposed to come out starting around October, I think, right? Wasn't that in the first one? Wasn't it the first book coming out in October?
I think so.
I can't remember offhand now.
I think that sounds right.
Unfortunately, so we're getting two novels pushed back. Charles Soule and was it Justina Ireland? Was that the other one coming out? Mm-hmm. Yeah, pushed back. So those are coming out this year. I think now they're pushed back to January and February of next year.
Yeah. Now, to clarify what you said, the Charles Soule's book is the adult novel. That's called Light of the Jedi. Yeah. And then Justina Ireland's book is what they call the middle grade novel. So it's like not young adult. So it's not like high school, early college age. Mm-hmm. It's more like middle school into high school age. Yeah. And that one's called A Test of Courage. So hopefully it's close enough to a young adult novel that I'll be able to enjoy it. Yeah, I don't know.
I found some of them have been okay. Even the young adult novels have been, I thought, adequate for adult story.
A lot of people growing up with the Jason and Jaina books, They say that those were actually, like, even as you got a little older, the story still held up pretty well. I mean, you got to understand it. You know, here's the thing. If you can watch Clone Wars and Rebels and especially Resistance and these animated series, and you can get through those okay, the books probably aren't any different.
Yeah, true.
So, well, yeah, those are pushed back. And then the young adult novel Into the Dark by Claudia Gray, February 2nd. So, and then other things will be announced at a later time, like the comic books and stuff, due to, quote, general marketplace delays.
They just didn't want to use the C word.
Yeah. I don't know whether that's so marketplace delays as opposed to production delays, though. That makes me wonder about like actual physical publishing, like maybe there's a backlog on people printing books.
Where they're putting these out, marketplace delays, to me, it kind of says that more retail establishment type stuff, which is kind of weird because you'd think in a pandemic, everybody home and doing stuff and not going to work, you'd want to have more content to read.
True.
Earlier, right? I mean,
and Amazon really is, you know, the biggest bookseller, but there is still a portion of books that sold in retail stores, Walmart, Target, but then also Books A Million and Barnes and Nobles and Borders and whatever, or whichever one didn't close down. But then also you've still got to print the books, which means those employees have to be showing up to work. And they might not
and a lot of production facilities have been cut way back because they have to redo their lines. They can't have workers working as close together anymore. So that's been a challenge.
While it might not be a development point of view, and it might not be, although it could also be a distribution point of view, but it might not be distribution. It could just be printing the books.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
true.
Well, there's some good news though, right?
Well, there is some good news. Now, our biggest Thrawn supporter is not here tonight, but the next series of Thrawn books, starting with Thrawn Ascendancy, Chaos Rising is the first book, was scheduled to release, I think, around the second week of October. So I was hoping it was going to be, being released at New York Comic Con. Well, we're going to get it a month early, September 1st now.
Is there going to be a New York Comic Con, Lou?
Well, I was hoping there was still back when I was.
And if there
talking about
were,
this.
Would you go?
There's not going to be.
Yeah.
No, I would not go. I don't think so. It was a hospital a month ago.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no. The good news is Thrawn, Chaos Rising, is the prequel book to how he became, rising up within his ascendancy.
Yes.
Coming out September 1st, and I'm excited to get this. I already got my book pre-ordered on
Audible.
Yeah.
I need to check. I think I've got mine pre-ordered, but if not, I've got a spare credit. So, and I'm sure it's going to be read by Mark Thompson. So, I mean, it's an automatic purchase for me because Mark Thompson. But
he does good stuff, right?
Oh yeah. We need to get Mark on the show again. We need to get Ahmed Best on as a guest.
That'd be great.
And we need to start doing that. But I mean, hey, the more Thrawn, the better. The more anything that Timothy Zahn does in the Star Wars universe is just, I'm on board for. So, and I'd rather have it sooner than also be able to get it at a convention. I don't care. I want because here's the thing. Again, like if I get the book, I'm getting the book to have the book, but I'm going to listen to the audiobook. I'm never going to open the book. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I bought a version last year at New York Comic Con of the last Thrawn book.
Yeah.
Because it was a special cover and everything else I wanted to get. I'm never going to read the actual book.
And with my luck, the book would be in a box, and then something else in the box would rub against it and tear that exclusive cover.
No, don't say that.
Yeah, see, I've given up on that sort of thing. For me, I think collectibles, like for them to have meaning to me, it either has to be a favorite character and like a decorative thing. And I know people like have their books out decoratively, and that's cool. I would do that too if I had like the room for it. But then also, like, if it's a moment where, like autographs, I don't care about autographs unless it was someone or a moment where I was there with somebody, and like that's a memento of that personal connection. Like having Vanessa Marshall's autograph matters to me. Having Harrison Ford's autograph, like that's more impressive and certainly more valuable monetarily. But if I ever do get his autograph, I'm either buying it online, in which case there's zero connection, or it's going to be, he's going to be at an autograph mill at a convention cranking them out, which he doesn't do. And then there's just not going to be. But I have a Mark Hamill autograph that I got as a gift, and it didn't have a lot of meaning. And then I got to meet Mark Hamill, and I got a picture with him, and we got to talk a little bit and like briefly and stuff. And now the autograph, even though it's not from that moment, like I kind of still want to hold on to it.
Yeah, right. I'm the same way you are, Eric. When it comes to meeting people and having interactions and getting autographs, if it's spontaneous and it happened, great. Yeah. I'm not a big one for going in paying for autographs at conventions and waiting in lines and doing that. Some people love that, and that's their thing. I think that's fantastic. Some people hunt autographs like that because they really want to get those autographs. And I did that not last time. I did it in Orlando for Vanessa Marshall. I really wanted her to sign my Ghost.
Well, and Alan Tudyk, right?
Yep, him too. Yep, but we did the photo with Alan Tudyk. I thought it was UI and Chris.
Didn't you also get the autograph though afterwards? Because it wasn't.
No,
I thought he commented on your cosplay.
I had the helmet.
Maybe it was Chris that went up and got the.
And he didn't. He wouldn't. He said, "I can't. They won't let me do it." So I was like, "Okay, well, I get it." But
I thought you had gotten. I thought you went through the line and gotten like a standard autograph.
Oh, I did. I went and got it.
Because that's where you had that conversation. Because remember the photo, they cranked us through like cattle.
They did. Yeah, right.
It's like you literally, I'm not sure how the photographer focused on the people because you barely stopped moving. It was like you walked toward him, click, keep going.
Right through.
It's like, wait a minute, I didn't even stop walking. No, we got it. Keep going.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, the next day I had, because I brought my K2SO Black Series figure I wanted him to sign.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I said, I had the head of my cosplay I was doing. I was like, would you? He goes, no, I can't. I said, okay, no, I totally understand.
Yeah.
He goes, that was creepy. Thanks for having it.
It was weird too, because it was like the look on his face. Like we were some of the first people through.
I treasure that picture.
And so the picture itself was great, but like as we're walking up, it was kind of like he wanted to say hi and he wanted to be friendly, but he had all these staff members around him. Like it was like a military deployment. There are people like, go, deploy. It's like, whoa, hey, calm down. And like we walk up to him and like there's no handshaking, there's no touching, nothing like that. And as you walk up, look this way, click, okay, move on. And like you saw his jaw starting to move like, hi. Are you guys? Okay. Next one's. Okay. Hi. Oh, no. Okay. No highs. Just, you could tell he wanted to interact a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And that's why those things don't mean as much to me, because they always feel so impersonal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm sorry. The little tangent there, but Thrawn's coming a month early. And that's exciting. Yes. And, Timothy Zahn's an interesting interview too. We need to get him on the show.
I've met him a few times, but I've never interviewed him. So, yeah.
He has some, as you would expect, as, an author, a best-selling author, he's got some really good insights on things. And I bet we could come up with some really interesting questions about his opinions on what's going on in the minds of some characters, or like the aftermath of certain events, or things like that he like that wouldn't get him in trouble, and yet like he could maybe give some like that's interesting, and we could kind of like explore,
dive in. Yeah,
that would be fun. Anyway, what else do we have?
We'll have to work on that.
Yeah, we will.
We have new Black Series stuff announced. Actually, new packaging for Black Series. Yeah. So, was it last Friday? I think it was, or maybe over the weekend. Hasbro had put up a bunch of posts on Instagram. Was where I saw them for new packaging. So we're going to lose the black and red packaging with the number on the side, But the new packaging looks pretty good. It's got photorealistic images of the characters on the side of the box, as well as better, they're using that photorealistic face for a lot of these new characters, and they're re-releasing a lot of the stuff from Rebels.
Yeah, which is good because I had a heck of a time hunting some of them down, and I still don't have, I've never seen Chopper or Zeb, I think.
Those I've seen. I think I have both those. I didn't see Sabine. Took me a long time to find. I want to say. See, it was their distribution is pretty horrible. So it's
I mean you've pretty much got to order them. Speaking of which, are these available for pre-order?
They are available for pre-order on Hasbro and a few other places I saw over the weekend.
One of the non-Rebels characters is the silver version of the Mandalorian. And I really need to get that one.
Yeah, no, I think that's gonna be a hot one to find.
Plus, now that I'm kind of messing around with clay, I kind of want to start doing like sculpting busts and stuff. And I've got one set up for.
Oh, cool!
Like I'm starting with Jango Fett because it's a very basic color scheme and stuff. But I'd like to do the Mandalorian and having the Black Series figures because they're detailed and they're larger. They're a good reference point. So.
Yeah. So those are out there. Now, I've seen some, comments online. Why do you think we're getting these particular characters redone in the first wave of the new packaging for the Black Series figure?
So let's go over the list real quick. I mean, all of the Rebel stuff is there. Zeb, Kanan, Chopper, Sabine, Hera, Ezra, and Ahsoka. And then we have Snowspeeder Luke, probably in timing for Empire 40th anniversary, maybe. We've got the Stormtroopers from The Mandalorian, Clone Troopers from Camino from Episode 2, Admiral Akbar, Tebow, both of those from Return of the Jedi, obviously, and Darth Vader. And then we've also got the silver version of The Mandalorian. So The Mandalorian's still popular, and I don't think we've had a silver version of that, right? That's not a re-release, is it? Did we have a silver one?
No, we just had the original armor from like the first episode.
Which means I need to pre-order this quick because it's going to go fast. I don't know what I'm doing podcasting. I need to pull up a computer and go do that right now. But the Rebels stuff, I don't know. Maybe because it's fairly recent and maybe didn't get a big print run, and yet I think that they were more popular than Hasbro might have thought. I mean, there are a lot of fans who are very much into Rebels, and Ahsoka, obviously. There are a lot of people who are just obsessed with anything Ahsoka related, so that's an obvious one to re-release. And again, some of these were really hard to find.
Yeah, that's true.
And people pick up, like what you were talking about, wanting to get K2SO autographed. Some of these actors and actresses are a little easier to find at conventions to get autographs for, so I think that also makes people want to get... like right now, I've got Sabine sitting over there with other Mandalorians that I have, but if I were going to go to a convention and I knew Tia were going to be there doing autographs, I might want to get that autograph, so I would buy another one in the box for the autograph.
Yeah,
they're more accessible than, let's say, Harrison Ford or even Mark Hamill.
So while you were chatting, I just went to Hasbro Pulse, and the Mandalorian Silver is sold out for pre-order.
Of course it is.
Yeah, so I know other places will have it.
No, they won't. No, they won't.
Yeah, there will be.
I lost my chance. Well, Amazon.
Other places.
Amazon will have it, and probably for less than $70. Probably. We'll see.
Never know. Yep. So there's our plate of the Black Series figure.
Yeah. Speaking of the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the Golden Globes?
I heard some stuff about this. I wasn't quite sure I followed all of it, but it has to do with the rules for who's getting nominations and how things can be nominated. Yeah.
So people like The Mandalorian, obviously, and it got good critical acclaim. And so people were thinking maybe it would be up for a Golden Globe, and maybe Pedro Pascal would get nominated. However, They have decided, they being the Hollywood Foreign Press Association that runs the Golden Globes, has decided that moving forward, voice-only performances are not eligible in any acting category. So not only is that voiceover work for animation, that would mean like Anthony Daniels, because he's in a suit, could never get a Golden Globe for C-3PO.
Interesting.
And Pedro Pascal, as long as he's got a helmet on, would never be eligible for Golden Globe. Now, he did take his helmet off in the finale, and so there are some people questioning that whole thing, because that still would have been eligible for nomination under this new rule that they're putting through. But, this is coming from, I saw it on comingsoon.net. This is them citing Variety, but apparently this is, and there are a couple of other new rules that they're throwing together that aren't really tied to Star Wars at all. But yeah, so not only did The Mandalorian get snubbed, but they kind of made it so, yeah, if you got a helmet on, you don't count as an actor, which is kind of stupid, because if you look at, I mean, Anthony Daniels is not in The Mandalorian, but he is a shining, no pun intended, a shining example of someone who can get a good performance just through his body movement, even though he has a mask on. And for those who don't know, Anthony Daniels used to be a mime a long time ago. So acting through body movement is something that he's actually done professionally before ever joining Star Wars. That's not easy to do, and there is a certain skill to it. And I think Pedro Pascal and the other two actors who did the stunt work as Din Djarin, I thought they did a really good job. Plus the voice. I mean, there's voice matters as well. If it didn't, you wouldn't do 6 different takes of lines being read different ways if voice didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, all that stuff plays into the performance from the actor and how they're delivering that on screen. I think this is I don't think it's I won't call it a travesty, but it's horrible not to be able to recognize actors for doing this kind of work.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. Like, it would help his career, and that's good, and I would wish that for him. But a lot of our listeners who have been with us for a long time, you guys know how we feel about award shows and all that. I mean, when Pedro goes to a convention and he gets on a stage and there's no pandemic and there's, 800 billion people screaming at him because they're all excited to see him. Like, I think I would rather have that than, some little statue.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But still, I don't know.
It'd be nice to have both, I guess.
Exactly. I guess that brings us to the end of the episode, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there were a couple of big news items this week and not a lot of lengthy stuff. But, hey, a new VR thing. Thrawn's coming early. And in a few days, we're getting the Jedi Temple Challenge. This is coming out on the 3rd, I think. So that's Wednesday, right?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, Wednesday the 3rd.
So coming up pretty soon. So that's it, though. Lou, like you said earlier, join our Discord channel, randomchatter.com/Discord. It's free for anybody to join. We did mention that there are additional channels that we set up as a thank you for people who help donate to support the network through Patreon at randomchatter.com/Patreon. But even if it's just $1 a month, that unlocks all of those for you. So, I mean, that's, I've seen David in the chat room. Discord's awesome. But what makes it awesome is people like you joining and participating. And we have a lot of people participating there. And it really is, I don't even think about other social media anymore. I pull out my phone and hop into Discord to see what's going on and what people are talking about. And there's a lot of great conversations going on there. So be sure to check that out. You can follow us on Twitter at Force Chatter and Random Chatter. So don't forget to do that. And hit up the new YouTube channel, randomchatter.com/YouTube. Be sure to subscribe there and click the little thingy. That's the technical term. If you mouse over the notification thingy, it actually says notification thingy. It doesn't. Like,
I don't think it does.
Click on that, and then you will get notified of new videos coming to YouTube. But if you want to watch us live, come watch us in the live streaming and hang out in the chat. Every Sunday night, except next weekend might be a little different. We might be switching that around. But typically, 3 out of every 4 Sunday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, which is GMT minus 5, unless I'm getting that wrong with the daylight saving time. I need to look that up someday. I keep saying that and never do. And we'll be back again Tuesday night with another episode of Movie Chatter. What are we covering this time? Oh, Director's Cuts, right?
Director's Cuts, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And just the other day, there was a post on, I think, comingsoon.net about people's favorites Director's Cut. I was like, oh, interesting.
I saw that you posted that. I'm going to take a look at it. And you know, it's interesting. A lot of people have been talking about this Snyder Cut. This does tie in a little bit with Star Wars. I saw a YouTube video from, I always get these 2 channels confused. There's Den of Geeks and Den of Nerds. One of the 2. It's a really good YouTube channel. I'll find out so that next time we talk about it, we can post it in the show notes or something. But they were talking about their opinions on the Snyder Cut, and then also this movement that has kind of popped up in the Star Wars community about doing Solo 2. And he had some interesting and very well thought out comments on it, and taking a look at the motivation of the Star Wars fan community, and are they doing this just to kind of, you know, some people are trying to use this as a rallying cry for positivity, whereas the Snyder Cut was all about, you know, what we got sucks, give us the good stuff. Mm-hmm. This is more about, you know, hey, let's look at Solo as actually a good movie, and moving forward. I think it was Den of Nerds. I'll have to look that up. I actually don't think it was Den of Geeks. Den of Geeks is probably what more people are more familiar with. But anyway, it was really interesting. I thought, you know, getting Solo 2, even if it's just straight to Disney Plus, with what they're doing with the volume now, with The Mandalorian, that almost 360-degree video wall.
Yeah,
so much they could do that just, it's like movie-like quality.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, in all this stuff, when you come right down to it, I'd much rather see a series of stuff revolving around Solo 2 than a movie. Because, like you talked about before, we're going to get more character development, you get more details. You can dive into the story harder. I think it's a great way to do it if it happens.
See Darth Maul in live action. We can bring Kira back. I'm not just pushing for this just to get Kira to come back. I mean, I kind of am, but I'm not going to admit that, because that would be weird. So yeah, just bring all of it back. All right. That's going to do it for this episode of Echo Base. Until next time, take care.